to the monthly research seminar series organized by Head of Research Office. Let us start our gathering today by the recitation of Kitab Surah Al-Fatiha. Several months ago, the office of the Head of Research started very good tradition. They started organizing the monthly research seminar series in this year, and it is very good opportunity for all the researchers come and share about their ideas, how their research is going on, and also about how we are applying for grants and how we are getting it. And also, I am very happy that we are having today the representatives and the guests from the PNB also, and welcome to IIUM, welcome to all the research seminar series, and thank you very much for coming and joining us today. And also we have the professors here. Thank you very much for coming, and the PhD students, master students, all are who are interested in this topic. So today, the title of the speech is the Maqasid al-Shariah, approach to the management of Tabung Masjid in Malaysia, a paradigm shift. So today we are going to discuss about what is the paradigm shift in this field. And the person who is going to present this topic is the best person who is the most suitable to speak about this one is the Associate Professor Dr. Luqman Zakariyah. And he is the head of research of the Kulliyah, and who is started the tradition of having this research seminar series. Dr. Luqman has several grants, and he also finished some grants already on the topic. Maybe they are not related directly to the Tabung Masjid, but he was working on the Maqasid al-Shariah and how we can use Maqasid al-Shariah approach to enhance the Islamic, the financial system, well-being of humanity, well-being of the Muslims, and also for the community services for a long time already, even before joining us, IIUM, right? So let us give the floor to the Dr. Luqman Zakariyah to present his ideas, and after that we are going to have the question and answer session. Doctor, we are going to have 1 hour to you to present?
Yes, ma'am.
Yes, thank you very much.
Thank you very much. Assalamu alaikum wa rahmatullahi ta'ala wa barakatuhu. And a very good morning to every one of you. I first of all thank my, I cannot say my boss in HOR. She was the HOR before I stepped on as two. She was our head of research last year, so before I became HOR. And I hope she will come back to be the HOR after today, inshallah. Maybe next week, she will resume to that office, and I will be leaving that office, I believe, if the plan of the dean doesn't change, inshallah. Is Dr. Almira. Thank you very much for coming to moderate the section. Professors, doctors, my colleagues, my researchers, we don't call them students, but we call you our co-researchers who are here today in this presentation. I think Professor Dr. Almira has explained the rationale behind coming together to discuss about research activities in our Kulliyah. But my introduction is part of this so that we know where we are and how we want to talk about research in this faculty. The content of my presentation today will be to introduce myself, my mission as HOR, and the importance of research to scholars. Then I will talk particularly on my own research, which I just concluded last year, June, which is on Tabung Masjid. and I will talk about paradigm shift, which is the most important thing in this gathering. What I mean by paradigm shift and how we can talk about paradigm shift in this Kulliyah. Let us see that a university is not just only to teach, but it's meant to be a holistic and universal in its core business. That universality must resonate in three core businesses, namely teaching, researching, and community engagements, without which the claim cannot be accorded to any university. Our university, IIUM, is of no exemption, whether it has been accorded the status of research or comprehensive university. In discharging this holistic duty, it is of imperatively paramount to have scholars of such caliber who rise to face such daunting challenges. A research in our KIRKHS, given its classification, has its strength and it has also weaknesses. Its strength lies in the fact that it is structured in a multicultural and interdisciplinary domain that gives every field a chance to collaborate with others to enrich a given topic or area of research. However, its weaknesses lie in the fact that some departments are more inclined to theoretical imagination that depart from empirical innovation. In addition, the culture of research has not yet been embedded in the heart and grounded in the mind of some of our scholars. This platform of having monthly research seminars in this Kulliyah therefore seeks to motivate, grow, and celebrate the culture of research as it is deemed to be so, that the Kulliyah can be placed in the high esteem befitting status in the university and well recognized in the world of researchers. So, my respected researchers, permit me to quote Vezor, who says that scholarship and research should be pursued by universities, both for their inherent value and in order to produce a stock of useful knowledge that might be applied elsewhere for the benefit of society. According to Gary 1998, he says, scholarly work can inform and support the education and work of teachers in the following ways. First, research can provide evidence and arguments, even though it frequently fails to offer fact and proof. It can also help teachers identify, conceptualize problems, activities, and outcomes related to teaching and learning. Scholarly research can also provide common language and theoretical frameworks that can be used among teachers to discuss and analyze. These are very important points that can be contemplated, especially to our theorists in different departments of this Kulliyah. This will be a preamble for our discussion every month in this Kulliyah to see how research can be advanced, not only to teach, but also to have impact in the society, without which the Kulliyah cannot claim to be a research Kulliyah, and the university may not be able to grow to become a research-based university. A research topic can be generated in different way. And that is why the second item in my introduction is how does a research topic come on Tabung Masjid? A good research must be a societal oriented. It must connect the theory to the practical, and more importantly, must have long and short-term achievements. That is what brings me to talk about paradigm shifts. Instead of having short-term to publish, but also long-term of how the research can be translated into policy of the land you live in, or can be commercialized by any company. And how this my research is going to be commercialized, we will talk about, inshallah, by the end of this presentation. So I believe that personal experience of individual and collective brainstorming will be one of the best factors to generate an impactful research topic. I emphasize impactful research topic. So my topic of Tabung Masjid generated from my experience, my thinking, imagination, not only 1 year, probably 10 years of my existence. So I've been thinking of Tabung Masjid 10 years, and I couldn't write anything on it until when I came here in 2013. So this had been considered in choosing my topic, research topic. It was a long chronic disease. I call it chronic disease because it disturbs your mind and you do not have any medication for it until when you have that research done. I was in London back in 2003, and I went to one mosque, and I saw on the notice board, we need 1 million to build a mosque. And I went there several times. So 2 years, 3 years, notice board, we got £250,000. We need 1 million. And I called the imam, I said, where is 250 million? He said, in the bank. What are you using it for? We are waiting for the extra money to complete 1 million. I said, you will never get 1 million. You won't get 1 million. It's better for you to think about how to generate money from 250,000 for you to build the mosque. Because I won't donate. I won't donate because I know that you do not manage £250,000 properly. So if I give you any money, you won't know how to use it. And he was shocked. He said, what are you talking about? We cannot invest the money. I said, no, we can't. And that is where I think there's a problem in the administration of mosques all over the world. When I was in the States, I went to Virginia. I saw a mosque well built. And I asked the imam, I said, where did you get the money? He said, from the contribution and some investment here and there. I said, okay, that's a good idea. So you have a concept of investing money in your mosque, but in London, they don't have it. So there's a problem of Madari, probably. So from there, I'm developing some kind of hypothesis to develop my research topic when I have time to do. So that is why I see some Muslim organizations failing to tap this financial potential around them. This mostly happens in developing countries, where some mosques are poorly maintained due to lack of artificial poverty. To address this apparent problem, to contribute to the society, I decided to propose a research topic on Tabung Masjid management concept based on Maqasid al-Shariah in Malaysia, because I'm in Malaysia and I have to do something that could have an impact in the society that can be transferred to another country if Allah wills. So these are the genesis of how the topic of Tabung Masjid is written and proposed. So not only that, when we proposed this topic to FRGS 2015, I believe, the first of my research application since I joined the university in 2013. So I was able to propose in 2015, not 2013, but I've been nursing the problem in 2003. So maybe 10 years interval, and I plan to propose in 2015 which is 12 years after that. For which the researchers, I call the researchers by all co-researchers, which I will mention all of them at the end of the presentation. So we were to be put in the labor room. You know, we want to deliver baby. We are put in the labor room in anticipation of what the result will be, either positive or negative by KPT. With the spirit of optimism, work planning, and more importantly, reliance on Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala, waiting for His infinite decree, the report of the KPT was generously positive with amendment of the budget. I must confess that a careful composition of the members was an added advantage for winning the grant, coupled with the uniqueness of the research topic. I emphasize that the composition of the researchers are added value, because when you want to apply in a place that you are not belonging, you are not a member of the citizen, and you want to have a grant of 100,000, they won't trust you. No, I can just take my bag tomorrow and go back to my Nigeria or my UK. So who's going to be held responsible if I've been given these grants? So I know that I'm in Malaysia, not in Nigeria, not in America, not in Britain. So I have to be carefully select my research members. So among them I have Professor Rahma. Though she joined us later, she was not there when we applied, but she joined me later. But those who are there are Dr. Associate Professor Azman Muhammad Noor in IBF. He used to be my head of department. Associate Professor Ahmad Basri Ibrahim, who is now in PMB. He was head of department during that time. And I also have Dr. Suhaimi from economics as co-researcher. So the combination of these people from different backgrounds gave me a kind of chance to win the research grant I requested from the Ministry of Higher Education of Malaysia. And on top of that, I said the uniqueness of the topic, because one of the comments of the reviewer, it says, this is what we have been looking for ages to talk about. Nobody wants to talk about it. Then probably I leverage on a kind of what they call introversy of Malaysian on particular issues that can trigger to problem in the country. So people don't like to talk about those issues, to probe the imam in the mosque, to know how they are doing this accounting and so on and so forth. No one will be interested in that in campaigns, I believe. They don't want to care about how they do these affairs. But I try to tap on this opportunity that, well, if Dr. Basri cannot talk, Dr. Azman cannot talk, Dr. Suhaimi cannot talk, then let me talk. Then when they bull me, I go out. I run back to my country. So, you see, that's mentality. So if you want to apply for a research grant on that nature, you should know the place you live, the people you are working with, and how you can play your game to get. In fact, I have to mention here that when I wanted to apply, the first time I sat with my colleagues in my department, my people from foreign colleagues, they said, Luqman, who are you to apply for research on masjid in Malaysia? You will never get it. I say, don't worry, I will get it by Allah wishes. I've been here for 20 years. I've never applied for FRGS. I said, don't worry, that is a problem. I'm just 2 years here. I will apply for it and I will get it. Let us work together. No, I don't want to be a failure. Okay, if you don't want to be a failure, you won't be a successful person in your life. So I go on my own to apply for this research without the knowledge of my colleagues in the departments. So I think that is how we can play our role as researchers, not to wait for people to disturb you who have a kind of pessimism, a tasha'um. No, it can't happen. No, it won't happen. Don't follow them. Just go ahead. Try it. If you fail, that's the beginning of the success for you. So that's what I quickly tapped, and I got it in the first instance, which was about 7,000 ringgit for 2 years research. So, how we deal with this research is one of the things that we need to talk about in our research. We all know that mosque in all over the Muslim world has managerial problems, be it in Malaysia, in Africa, in America, in Britain, Europe. They have problem of how to manage the accounts of the mosque. So, management of many mosques are still dependent on the contribution of the community. Despite the good amount of contribution received from the society, there are reports that the funds are not bankable and are financially excluded from any good economic activities, such as participation in certain investment schemes. Since the cost of mosque administration, operation, and services to the community are increasingly higher, the mosque management committee must not continue to depend on financial contribution by the society, but to diversify the sources to the fund the mosque administration, operation, and services. In fact, for the Muslim community to be potentially equipped to face the global challenges, all Islamic-based institution organizations should be financially strong. That requires judicious efforts to strategize the best way to enhance the efficiency of the fund. This warrants for the leveraging on all level ways of optimized public funds, especially in the era where Islamic banking and finance sector are showing remarkable growth and making good impact in the society. There are also initiatives among academics and scholars in pushing the Islamic bank and financial industry to play their role in sustaining the corporate social responsibility by engaging the expertise to revisit the Tabung Masjid management. Indeed, this is an untapped area of Muslim wealth which should be taken seriously in order to bring back the financial capacity of the Ummah. So I try to stress on these problem statements that if we do not tap the potential of the mosque and we do not try to create financial independence for the mosque, we will continue begging from public, and public may not be interested to do more for the mosque depending on your affiliation to the mosque. If the mosque is in a rural area, it will continue to be poor. But if it's in affluent places like where ministers are living, you will see money flowing in their taboo. But how do they use the money in their affluent area is a question mark, because our finding, which I will talk about, has revealed that there are many monies in some mosques and they do not have any clue of how to spend those monies. And there are some mosques that are struggling to even do the maintenance to come to the standard, and because the lack of finance in that particular area, they cannot do anything. So the significance of my study is that the research is expected to lay some foundation for the recommendation of a number of informed intervention to develop appropriate and effective Tabung Masjid management. Specifically, the research proposed a new method of expenditure, banking, and investment of Tabung Masjid generated from the public in order to maximize the benefit of this fund for the Ummah in line with Maqasid al-Shariah. So the role of Maqasid al-Shariah has tried to come in, because when we stick to the legalistic explanation in the book, we may not be able to advance the taboo to the heights of what we want, because there are some thoughts in Islamic jurisprudence, in fact, that the money of zakat cannot be invested, this and that. So if you want to do analogy KIRKHS of ordinary funding, you may not be able to advance this issue. So the methodology also needs to be talked about. I also mentioned about my methodology. Yes, before the methodology is objective. So the main purpose of this research is to gather information about Tabung Masjid, management practices of the past, current, and future. And this chapter, the chapter of research objective is the analysis of the answers given by 432 respondents from the questionnaires and 5 people for the interview section. Because I want it to be more interactive with the questions and how we want to go about, is about research methodology. We try to take many dimensions for our research method. We use quantitative and qualitative mixed method, and I think one of our validator of our questions is here, a person of Professor Sauda. She was the one who vetted the questionnaire to make sure that our questionnaire capture all the areas that we want to touch in our research. We also develop interview questions with the imams and so on and so forth. So we use many areas of research. So our participants, you try to cover all the states of Malaysia within these 2 years. It's a daunting task. You have to hire each RA in each state to go to this. The only place we are very unlucky will be Sabah and Sarawak because of the distance of geographical location of the mosque there. So we got very few people from this area, but albeit we try our best to capture all these areas in our research. About literature review, we also look into the opinions of Muslim scholars on management of Muslim public fund, especially Tabung Masjid. According to some of the respondents in these or the literature review, it is revealed that this concept has never been tapped before, and there are a lot of argument among the Muslim scholars whether Tabung Masjid can be invested or can be structured or to be like a corporate entity where we will make use of the fund there accurately. So I will not go into nitty-gritty. I will show you later on our full report for the government so that you can have a read and look to guess what we have come up with. The reason for the lack of proper management of Tabung Masjid also were reviewed in those books. We have been told that the reason why the lack of proper management of Tabung Masjid, when we have its sister like Zakat, Tabung Hajj, Waqf, have been prudentially developed and management in Malaysia particularly, but there was no any focus on Tabung Masjid, where Waqf has been focused, Zakat has been focused, and Tabung Hajj also was focused by some entity in Malaysia. So we try to take a kind of analogy KIRKHS to say the spirit that gives birth to Tabung Hajj in Malaysia in 1969 still replicates itself in the way Tabung Masjid is being managed in Malaysia. According to Muhammad Abdul Manan, Tabung Masjid was established upon the suggestion by the royal professor Uncle Abdul Aziz, who in his research in 1950s, he did a research, like our research on Tabung Masjid. He did a research on Tabung Hajj, and he found that Muslims, I quote, Muslims save money in pillows, under mattresses and floors, in cupboards, in earth jars, etc., for the purpose of making preparation for them to go to Hajj. So that is how they are saving their money. They don't want to put their money, they have opted for these means to save in order to avoid the element of riba in their money should they keep their money in the bank. So Uncle now suggested to the government to provide institutional level scheme for Hajj pilgrim under which they can invest in diverse lawful activities, out of which dividends can be paid. And these will assist them financially in meeting their expenses for the Hajj in an efficient way. Tabung Masjid assets today have raised to 45.6 billion ringgit as February 2013. And the company envisaged that their growth could reach 50 billion before the end of 2014. So the money that started with 1,000 ringgit, 2,000, 3,000 become something 50 billion ringgit today. So I propose from that, by analogy, that if Tabung Hajj, which has a restriction on the expenditure and a kind of investment, can be done like that to yield huge amount of money to cater for many things in the country, why Tabung Masjid cannot be done. I also talk about effective and proper management of Tabung Masjid in line with Maqasid al-Shariah. You all know that Maqasid al-Shariah is one of the ways that we can advance Islamic thoughts in our generation, sticking to the legalistic narration of the opinion of the Muslim scholar in the book may be an handicap for us to move on. So that's why I believe that Maqasid al-Shariah can give us many ways to leverage on this potential in the mosque. I would not like to read much, but we know many about Maqasid al-Shariah. We also look into the managerial methods suitable for Tabung Masjid and in tandem with the objective of Islamic law, which is Maqasid al-Shariah. We project in our research that in the next 20 years, the money can grow to what we do not expect, even more than 50 billion that the Tabung Hajj has claimed to project for themselves. So we also find there are many finds which I will leave for people to read here and there. Most mosques have dedicated person in charge. They have some good and bad practices in the mosque. We appreciate some of the good, and we also advise them on some of the weaknesses in the mosque so that they can develop it. Some money have been kept somewhere, but they do not have any idea of why do you choose this mosque, this bank, to bank your money. They don't have. Some say, well, conveniency. Some say because it's Islamic. Some say because it's very dynamic in this and that. But when we ask about investment, none of them said that the bank benefit them in terms of investment. So from there, we take the lead to suggest that if we can have a pool of resources of Tabung Masjid, which I will talk about paradigm shift at the end, will be very beneficial for them. So this is an example of one region in Terengganu, which we try to give you what comes from there. And the funding in the bank, you see the different banks, and the money are scattered here and there. There is no any coordination of where the money is going and what are they using the money for in each bank. And we believe that if one bank is selected by all the mosques in the districts or in the state, they can have potential in that bank, and all the mosques in that area can be one of the board directors, or to be able to have influence on the decision of the bank if they know the potential of the mosque. So these are the percentage of what we've gathered. And about the investments, I think there is no any kind of investment of Tabung Masjid, but there are a lot of investment of zakat, waqf, and other sadaqat. So to leave that as it is, I want to make sure that we benefit from my presentation and we ask many questions because we have many things to do today, especially Juma. About the publication, we have good number of publication thanks to my co-researchers who have assisted in working on many papers. I think we've got this just of recent this year. It was submitted last year, but is just being published by Islamic Quarterly in London as a result of the conference of Fiqh Department last year. We also have about financial reporting, which is also in Islamic Quarterly this year, led by my co-researcher, Dr. Salif Suhaimi, and the other one in Islamic Asia, published last year, and there are other two in Sharjah and in another journal, which are ISI and non-index journal. We have a couple of conferences here and there, at least 5 conferences in Turkey. We were in Malaysia and in Sharjah. I think 3 places in the world we've presented the research. And we have what we call master graduate students, which we call human capital in any research. So if you want to do research, you have to take all these things into consideration, that you have to produce publication, you have to produce human capital, graduate maybe master's or PhD, then you have to engage in the public by going to conferences, disseminating the information, let people think about what you think about, and they can give you another option, another way, advice on how we can go about your research. But the last slide is about paradigm shift in business approach. As I said earlier when I started my presentation, I said when you are doing research, you must have what they call short-term and long-term approach to your research. The short-term is to publish, to graduate, and so on and so forth. But what about the long-term achievement? Where do you want to take your research to? Do you want to stop there, or you want to advance it? So these paper would suggest to the government to establish the prototype of Tabung Hajj for Tabung Masjid, so that the purpose of Sharia in protecting wealth in Islam could be realized. So now we come up with this, and this is going to be presented to ministry on what they call PRGS, Prototype Research Grant Scheme, where we will have different numbers of expertise from ICT, from engineering, from finance, from law, to look at the potential of having what they call ATM in the mosque. Do you believe in that? To have ATM in the mosque, it will be like ATM. So when you choose your donation, when you choose your donation in the mosque, you put your card or cash. Okay, when you put your card and cash, there will be a central body who will be monitoring these donations, and they will be giving you statement of account every year. So you know how much money you generated for waqf in your mosque, how much money you generated for ordinary sadaqah, and how much money you generated for zakat al-fitr, how much money you generated. So there will be no any cash in hand by any officials in the mosque. So that will cater for many things. Poor reporting in the mosque, according to our research, poor reporting is there. Sometimes they don't display how much money they got in the mosque, and that could be a malpractice somehow. I think when I was in Nigeria in October, I made a reference to a mosque in Abuja where one of the members, who is a professor in Islamic studies, he was a member, and he saw that whenever they report money every Friday, it was only 2,000 naira, 2,000 every Friday, 2,000. So what's wrong with this mosque? Central mosque. We have ministers coming to the mosque, we have professors, we have DG coming to the mosque. He decided one day to bring 10,000, and he put 10,000 in the box of donation, but yet they reported 2,000. So when they reported 2,000, he said there's something wrong. So he brought his own box, sunduk. In another Friday, he brought his own, like 20s or 30s, and he told them, don't use your own. I think there's gin in that, I put that. So he said to them, use mine, and lock it by himself. So when they gathered all the money, and he sat down with them, they calculated millions of money were generated in one Friday. And he knew that there is malpractices in collection of the money. And that can happen in any mosque. We are not immune of these malpractices, we are human beings. So that's why we suggested ATM-like in the mosque. So this money will go directly to the company who will be taking care of the mosque, all the fund. but it's not by force if you don't want. Then also they will be able to see ahkam al-Shariah in it. Because another problem we identify is that they don't differentiate between this and that in the mosque. The orphanage donation can be mixed with other money, and there are different ahkam sharia on types of the donation in the mosque. So by having this statement, identify how much money for the orphan, don't touch it. وَلَا تَأْكُلَ أَمْوَالَ الْيَتَامَى. So don't touch it, you should spend it for the yatama. If it is open donation in your mosque, then it can be used for many things. Even it can be taken to another mosque less privileged. So this is idea of what I call paradigm shift in the research. Don't do business as usual, but do business as it's supposed to be done so that we can maximize promoting what they call Maqasid al-Shariah in preserving, protecting, and growing the wealth of the Muslim, and taking care of other aspects of Maqasid al-Shariah, sponsoring the needy, and also to serve the community as they need. أقول قولي هذا أستغفر الله لي ولكم ولجميع المسلمين إنه هو الغفور الرحيم والسلام عليكم ورحمة الله تعالى وبركاته.
Thank you very much, Dr. Luqman. I was giving 1 hour and he was very good managing well his presentation. And it's about management. You can see even from his presentation, he was focusing on 4 very important points, but he was able to finish everything within 40 minutes. So Dr. Luqman was let me give the general idea about this. This is the tradition, isn't it? Usually when we are moderating, we have to give some kind of the summary. Number 1, he was raising very important issues which can benefit the professors in the university, researchers, and also the students, the postgraduate students also, who are the audience today. So number 1, he was mentioning why should we do research as a university professors, why we need it, and why it is very important for us, and also what should we apply for FRGs or other grants. He was explaining it from the very important backgrounds and the angles. And number 2, and he was also mentioning how we will apply, how we will be able to get these grants, and also he mentioned about how is the topic is very important, and also the team, how the team is supposed to be very strong. And the welcome Prof, and he is the professor. Please come and sit here, please. So, this is one of the most important people who I am seeing. His team also they came to support him today when he is presenting his the success of their grant, their project. And also number 3, as I mentioned, he was talking about his FRGS grant, how he was applying, how he was choosing his team, and also why this topic is very important, how Malaysian government was interested in this topic. And he was mentioning that the main topic was the main lack of the proper management of finance in mosques. They were focusing on this one, and how to achieve financial independence by bringing Maqasid al-Shariah approach. And here he was highlighting that the transparency and accountability are the key in success in managing these mosques. Now, thank you very much, Dr. Luqman. Now we are opening floor for the questions. And maybe we will take the 3 questions. Dr. Luqman, you are fine with it? 3 questions or 1 question and immediately will answer. It's up to you. How do you feel? 3 questions. So if you are because we have some guests also here, welcome again to IIUM, to the Kulliyah of Real Knowledge and Human Sciences, to the research seminar series. And if you are from outside, may you mention your name also, your organization, and please, you are welcome to ask questions from Dr. Luqman and his team. Yes, thank you, Prof.
Bismillah ar-Rahman ar-Rahim. Saladin Mansour. Ayat K. Quran and Sunnah Department. I think it's a very good idea to make Tabung Masjid, same like Tabung Masjid. I wrote a paper about Tabung Masjid. It's a very good company, very good, very successful regarding helping people to do their Hajj. Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala said in his book, في القرآن الكريم, وأن المساجد لله فلا تدعوا مع الله أحدا. النبي صلى الله عليه وسلم mentioned in his hadith, من بنى لله بيتا بنى الله له بيتا في الجنة. وفي رواية ولو كمفحص قطع. ولو كمفحص قطع. Anyone built a house for Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala, Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala will build a house in paradise. Even like the house of the faith. So I think it is very good idea to make Sunduq al-Masjid, Tabung Masjid. Did the Sraw and the Madrasa conclude the Masjid, Sheikh Luqman? That's my question.
I think I will take a little start here.
Okay,
but if I'm struggling to answer some questions, I think I have one of my co-researcher here, Dr. Ahmed Basri, who is now one of the guru in PMB, simply because he believes in management of money, wealth of Muslim. So teaching he retired from teaching. So we want to manage the wealth. So that's why he was our head of department sometimes in 2 years or 3 years ago. My prof asked about whether the Madaris is inclusive. In our research, we talk about the subsidiary of mosque, which include Madaris, include bookshops, include shopping, these amenities for the youth and so on, where this money, if it is well managed and planned, we can do many things in the mosque, including how we can incorporate Madaris, proper Madaris, into the masjid. Let me give one analogy. When I came here 2013, I rented an apartment. We have Surau. No one will come to Surau. Maybe 2 or 3 people will come to Surau. But when someone after 2 years donated his zakat to repair the mosque, to make the mosque look approaching, coming, even the youth, the young, the babies, they like to come to the mosque. So immediately when we opened the mosque, the Surau, with good sajada, good painting, good system, the mosque started full. I said, this is what the Prophet says when he talks about Sab'atun yudhilluhum Allah ta'ala fi dhillihi yawma la dhilla illa dhill. Wa dhakara min dhalik wa rajulun qalbuhu mu'allaqun bil masajid. I said, if your qalb will be mu'allaq bil masajid, there must be incentive as well. If the mosque is not well standardized, everything you need in the mosque is there, your qalb may not be there. If your qalb is there, your children's qalb will not be there. So that is what is happening today, that we go to the mosque, but our children do not want to go to the mosque because they don't have what they want in the mosque. So if you have playground, some other amenities, lesson, coaching after the school, and so on and so forth, and that is what I call in another project, standardization of the mosque in the Muslim countries. So where from this money, we can standardize. We can have a kind of mosque we should, if it is surah, this is how it's supposed to be, and these are the amenities supposed to be there. If it is a ratib, this is the type of the standard should be there, and we rate them according to the rating we develop. So this will be an advanced long-term achievement for this project, inshallah. Jazakumullah khairan.
Thank you. Okay, yes, now is the you can.
Okay. Thank you, Dr. Luqman. I would like to know, how did you interview, who are the people, the 5 people that you interviewed them? to make your study more meaningful and rich in data?
Okay, I think in the report we've, if I don't want to waste much time, what we did was that we divided Malaysia into geographical location, 5 geographical location or 4. And we tried to have sampling of these people in each states. So, but we identified those who are very important in the mosque, who run the affairs. So Nadir, which is Imam, and if Imam is not available, the person who is in charge of the money will be interviewed on how you manage it, what are the expenditure. So anything related to any financial reporting management will be asked by someone who is in charge of the money. But if it has to do with the Ahkam Shariah, do you believe that this money can be invested? Do you have a strategy of, there's any impediment from fiqh point of view? That will be for the imam or those who are alim in the mosque. So these are the criteria we use in order to get the purposive interview. We call it purposive interview, to get what we want exactly, not just anybody on the street or any members, but on the questionnaire, which is quantitative, we give it to the members of the mosque, not only the imam or the nadir or the accountants, but anybody who is mosque coming or going. So we fill the form, and we try to do some kind of analysis by the experts who vetted the invalidated questions that doesn't fit into our need. That's how we manage it. We may not be absolutely correct because half of us are from Islamic studies and some of us are from the science background, like Dr. Suhaimi and Dr. Shukran. We engage Dr. Shukran as well to be one of our members at the late stage when we are trying to do the analysis of the data. So those people help us to shape how we can analyze the data so that we can meet the criteria we set before the research.
Thank you. Yes, Dr. Fuzi. Yes, Dr. Fuzi.
Thank you, Dr. Luqman, and also the team for this research. I was informed that this research has been completed.
Yes.
I like also the ideas that you would like to suggest or to share to the current government, especially now we have the new government under Pakatan Harapan, which I think they are looking for more reforms with regard to the Islamic management or the religious management in Malaysia. Because if you look at the current practice, especially in the parliament, we still lacking on this aspect, the reform, the religious practice in Malaysia, right? Only recently there is one bill have been presented which is related to the management of the madrasah or the religious school in Malaysia. So if you can also propose it to government, I think this will be more important. More important than other law, okay? Because it's related to the management of the mosque. But I would like to share or to suggest, okay, because you suggest the establishment of the prototype or tabung haji. Yes. This is very important, I think, for the Muslim community in Malaysia. But in addition to that, also I think you need also to come up with what we call this, the changes that we need to do. Because in Malaysia, Islam is well institutionalized, or everything is based on the law, based on the acts and etc. We are subject to those aspects, and this is not only at the central level, but also because administration of Islam also is under the state level. That's why if you can propose also to the government, in addition to this prototype or tabung haji, the legal reform, okay, so that all these ideas can be implemented by the government, inshallah. So you can propose it to Dr. Mujahid. Inshallah, I think next session of the parliament there is new ideas presented to the parliament for the purpose of reform of Islamic management in Malaysia. Thank you very much.
I think that's why we need legal experts as well in our advanced one, who will take care of the legal aspect. We believe that each state has been given autonomy to decide on the religious affairs, and that could also be entrance for standardization globally or nationally in the country. But we do believe that if we have the same mindset from Maqasid al-Shariah, then we can work together regardless of any state you are, is just for Allah's sake, not for individual sake. No.
Okay, yes,
Please.
Thank you for the presentation. It seems the team has done a very good job. But however, we should be cautious because of the issues around the recent development in Tabanaji regarding the taking over by Bank Negara. So this portends some kind of a legal risk. And in proposing the prototype for the new for the Tabung Masjid, should be careful regarding the legal risk and the other issues regarding Tabanaji. It's very important. It's a good prototype. Tabanaji has been very successful, but yet there still need to point out some of the weaknesses so that this will not be replicated in the new Tabung Masjid. So this is just a word of caution regarding the business.
Thank you very much. I think yesterday I was listening to the news about the problem of Tabung Hajj, and I said, if we propose this thing, we will not say that it will be the same thing as Tabung Hajj. But I do believe that in every bad eggs, you have good egg, and the benefit of Tabung Hajj cannot be undermined. The Tabung Hajj are doing more social responsibility that we cannot imagine. If there is any small problems in this, can be eliminated very soon. So we will take that into consideration, how the legal aspect of it will take care of the continuity of Tabung Masjid rather than to take it by the financial institution of the country. Meanwhile, the issue of Tabung Masjid is quite different from, the legal aspect of it is quite different from Tabung Hajj, in the sense that Tabung Hajj is purely individual investments, where Tabung Masjid is the public investments. So no one owns the responsibility or the liability or anything from Tabung Masjid, in the sense that since you donate it, it belongs to Allah, and the government can take it, they can use it as they want, in as much as they are using it for the goodwill and well-being of the society. So, but the Tabung Masjid, the Hajj, is individual inputting needs, and the right of people should be protected by law. So from there we can argue the case that, yeah, this one can be done successfully even than Tabung Hajj. Wallahu ta'ala. Any question over there? Yeah, Prof.
Yeah, Prof.
Professor Arshad.
Yeah, Prof. Arshad.
Professor Arshad.
No, thank you very much. This is your idea, but we need that maybe if you standardize something that for all the Muslim countries can be applied. Because this is good idea, collection of every masjid everywhere. But if it's standard formula, maybe every country can apply. Because Muslims are afraid that to give the money or invest, put in the bank because of the riba. And generally no bank is there free from riba. Even Bank Islam, I heard in Malaysia also they go put in their money in conventional banks. And so that's why still the problem is there, how can we manage this one, free from riba. Earlier I read it somewhere, maybe I can confirm more, Tabung Haji, when they invest in some legal way that were there. So maybe some proper use of that, so all over the Muslim world, at least they can be standard formula, can be applied. It become a model, Malaysia is more model, and this, your research will be more helpful to other countries. Because every masjid has this kind of thing. And problem also has, as you say. So thank you very much.
Bismillahirrahmanirrahim. Assalamu alaikum wa rahmatullahi. Thank you, Prof. I'm sorry that I came a bit late and many viewers missed me already. I came a bit late in the meeting. The thing that I want to highlight here that in the masjid donations, we usually have many types of donations coming in. Many people donate for sadaqat, others donate for zakat, and others for building the mosque and this and that. But for every donation, there is separate aspect to be avenues to be used for. For example, for the zakat that you said that somebody donated a handsome amount of zakat for the building the masjid. But I believe that is a wrong place that they are putting the zakat money in, because zakat money has 8 different aspects to be. If you look at Surah Tawbah, ayah number 60, those 8 people have been mentioned there. Fuqara, Masakin, Amilin, Mu'allafa, Riqab, Gharimin, Fi Sabilillah, Fi Sabil, 8 people. So these 8 type of people have to be spent for zakat money, and these should not be used for what do you call, for building a masjid or something like that. And unless the masjid has maybe madrasas or orphanage or maybe other types of things that we can spend this money for, so this should go there, and they should not be mixed up together. So when you build this wonderful idea that you have achieved some of this thing in the new project, hopefully new Pakistan Harat Fund can help in doing something, inshallah. So there's very good, but this has to be separated. It shouldn't be mixed up together. So I believe that you may propose correctly.
Yeah. Actually, I think I've mentioned in my presentation that each ATM we have numbers of options. Zakat, Sadaqah, open one, Waqaf, orphanage, depending on the customization of each mosque. So each mosque we give the company what kind of donation they usually collect in the mosque. So it can be in one virtually, in one ATM, but when the account will come from the main corporate body, it will specify what this money meant for, and will be spent for exactly what the fuqaha of that state believe that asnaf zakat should go for, or waqaf, or so on and so forth. So that will be left for the Islamic scholar of each state to determine how they expand the interpretation of the text. Whether they want to go for open-ended like zakat, some people believe that, even want to say it can be expanded to even taking care of the people who need in the hospital, and so on and so forth. So I've been seeing many people who are coming to support me. Most of my co-researchers, they have been coming. Dr. Azman is there. Thank you very much. And Professor Rahma also is one of the co-researchers. So what we will do is that what we identify in our research is that mix of the funds, and they don't separate. And because of that, they can spend money for zakat for other things if they need it without any proper due process. So if this one is initiated in the future, so they will not mix the money because the account of each money is being documented in the central body that governing the money. So they will advise them of this is the zakat. So according to ahkam that you have, you believe in it in your state or your country, this is how you're supposed to spend it. And if it is only open sadaqah, then that can be used for many things. Take care of the mosque, building the madrasa, giving to people to do business as well, if not, setting up business for the needy people in your area and so on and so forth. So we will try as much as possible to embed all the types of the tabun in each area or in each country in this prototype research, inshallah. Any other question? Okay.
Assalamualaikum. Thank you very much, Dr. Luqman, Zakariyah, and of course the team members. I think it's a good congratulations to all the team members, because I think it's a good project. It's a good research project, and I think whatever that you propose is good for you to somehow what you call it, the government can implement and for this institution. But I just have one question, just based on your findings, when you conducted interviews or you mentioned about survey as well, whether you've asked about what the money, the fund that they've received. It seems that they've got a lot. They obtain a lot of fund because it's different from one month to another. But what are the activities, or how did they spend the money for? So what are the main activities, and what are it's just what do you call it? How do they spend? They spend the fund for. So I think based on the findings, I don't know whether you actually ask these questions or not, but I'm interested to know about it.
Yeah, actually this financial reporting, which was headed by Dr. Suhaimi, he did what they call case study of what activities they are doing in the mosque, and he specified a particular mosque in Selangor where they have so many activities, but they generated many monies in that particular mosque. But they believe that they are doing more than just saving. A lot of amenities surrounding the mosque, whatever the shops and so on and so forth. They go for picnics sometimes with the Jama'ah to make activities or well-being exercise. So all these things have been taken care by some mosques. Where many mosques in other parts of the world or the country, they don't even have any clue of this. Probably because of lack of fund, they don't generate money. So we also suggest that if you have enough surplus, why can't you transfer it to another place? If there is no any legal impediment for transferring this money to another area where they are less privileged in that area. So you support them in that, because the money is all for Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala. Musa used to send money back to Medina from Basra and so on and so forth. So if that is being done during the time of the Prophet, then your money from one Korea can be transferred, or one state can be taken to another state if you do not need this money, or you are doing something unnecessarily in that mosque. And some people have never done basic things they're supposed to do in the mosque. So these are the things we go into case study as well, by sitting down with the people there and see the pros and cons of their activities, and whether they are wasting the money as well. Not just spending the money, but they are wasting it. If they are collecting money and using it for unnecessary things, which can be used for another mosque for basic things, then I think that will be suggested for the mosque not to overspend, but to take care of other needy people in other places. Thank you very much for the advice. Any other questions?
Do we have any other questions?
Or suggestion?
Maybe there's some the team.
All my teams.
The members of the team.
I have almost 3 on the seat. I'm not sure whether no more. I think Dr. Shukran is not around. Yeah.
Yes.
Assalamualaikum warahmatullahi wabarakatuh. My name is Asma Amatullah and I'm master student. I feel humbled to be here to have great people around me. I just want to share how this session has benefit me. So currently I'm writing my research topic on management of private hospital Islamic. I'm comparing between Islamic hospital and also non-Islamic hospital and evaluative study based on Maqasid al-Shariah. So one of the uniqueness that I have found in non-Islamic hospital, or many of them is a church-funded hospital, that they are managing some public funds in their hospital to help people in need. But they are actually non-Islamic, and some are church-funded hospital, and they have very details and transparency about how they manage their fund. And I actually wanted to suggest in Islamic hospital to have the same fund, but I was thinking what is the structure or how the concept is. And this session has given me some ideas on how such fund can also be implemented in another Islamic institution, which is a hospital, which is I think is very important. So I would like to thank to have this session, and it has given me such a great idea to be implemented in hospital.
Thank you very much for the supporting of our goals in this Kulliyah. I think if we continue, I will urge my incoming HOR. I don't know who is he or she, but there is incoming HOR. We continue the activities, inshallah. We've got almost 6 people who have registered each month for this on our shared document for coming, even from KICT. Someone said, I want to share my research over there. From there in your Kulliyah as well. We accept some cross discipline as well, but mainly for our research in this Kulliyah will be our aims and objective to exhibit what we are doing. Many researchers in this Kulliyah, they are doing tremendously good research, which can be exposed, exhibited, but because we do not have platform, and that is why in my first preamble, I said this is a platform to exhibit, to celebrate those who have finished, to celebrate what they've done. And I believe the student also can have the same thing on their research, to let people know how they can think of another topic. I could remember when I was a postgraduate advisor, where we organized monthly research like this. Someone from FICU got his topic of PhD from sociology students. So the sociology student was talking about battering and domestic violence in Ghana, but from sociology point of view. But these guys say, oh, I can also talk about from Islamic point of view, fiqh point of view, and what is considered as domestic violence So he wrote his proposal and he finished. He's going to do Viva maybe next month, in January. So he tapped the topic from there. I think it's a good thing to have a brainstorming among scholars like this, to sit down, talk about it rigorously, and make sure that we derive something from it. I can benefit also from you as well to develop this research, because we haven't got any clue. I just designed it last night with my RA, the prototype. I've never discussed it with my co-researcher. They will be shocked when they saw paradigm shift of what I said here. I've never discussed it with them, but it has been in my mind that I want to take the research to more than this. So I think when we sit down, we get some feedback from you, how we can do this and how we can link to the government. Even I want to go to the Chinese company to do the ATM as well, and they can give the university billions of ringgit if possible to manufacture ATM for millions of mosques in Malaysia. That's a good project. So they will give honorarium or royalty for the university, and that will be patent of the university for life, inshallah. So thank you very much for that recognition of our activities in the Kulliyah. If I have any comment from my co-researchers, I will be very humble and honored. Please. Dr. Basri, maybe PMB will take this research to the lab. Please.
Assalamu alaikum warahmatullahi wabarakatuh. My brothers and sisters. I think I was involved in this project at the stage of the project only, but the project completed without me. So all credits go to all researchers except me. Okay. Nevertheless, the topic is close to me actually, because I remember last year we received a letter from the chairman of Mosque Committee. He sent a letter to our chairman asking KMP to invest the money that the mosque has collected. So the problem with us is currently our mandate is to manage individual money. We do not manage institution money. So this is the problem, but that one we try to accommodate the process, because we can have I'm thinking in terms of investment. I'm not talking about spending, because there are issues with regard to spending, but from investment angle, I think if we can create a fund, because the problem with the money, they collected a lot of money and they spend the money as well, but they still have a surplus every year. So this surplus, they do not know how to manage the surplus. They only deposit the money to any bank and so on. So this is a waste of money, because if we can collect the money, all the money, and we manage the money in one fund, we can have bigger return from the money. So this is why we are thinking, in our part, we are thinking to have to create a new fund that we can collect, or we can compare all the money collected by the mosque, and we can invest in Sharia compliant fund. So this is good for the mosque, because they can use the money for the future activities. But we do not want to collect all the monies, because they have the expenses. We only want to take the surplus from the collection. And we believe, because early this year as well, I have been approached by a mufti also. They complain to me about one state. They have a lot of money, but they do not have people who can run the money, who can invest the money. So again, they ask us to manage the money. But from our part, we still have the problem, because our mandate is only to run or to manage the individual money, not the institutions. Apart from that, I think when we want to invest the institution money, of course we need more due diligence, because it's related to UMLA and so on. This is another issue. when we come to the institutions. Okay, I think that's all my comments. So I think it's a good idea if you can, because we try also to make a survey how much surplus that they have every year. If you have the data that can tell us how much surplus that they have every year, and for example, maybe we can do for 5 state pilot projects for 5 or 6 states, and if we can have a few millions to start the fund, it's good enough. Okay. Wallahu a'lam. Salam.
Yes, please.
Thank you. Just I want to add, because sister asked about the hospital and Sharia compliance. You look at the early Islamic world or early days, Umayyad and Basi, they have many hospitals, free of medicine, even hospital, everything free is given, even dress, uniform, food and everything. 2 years ago, I attended a conference very much popularized by IIUM, Sharia-based hospital in Kuantan. So I attended, I presented a paper also. So I asked them, what is your, what do you want to, how your hospital will be Sharia-based? They said that we want to just specialize one room or here and there for if Hindu come for their or Buddhist come for their prayer, and this is our Sharia. So nonsense thing, this is not a Sharia for me because I am not a Sharia man. I don't know about this kind of thing. But you help the people, generate the money, give them poor people, all this you said no, we don't have such kind of fund. So only the word slogan you are using Sharia is enough, or to practically doing something. How the Muslim word they did free of all these things because they make awqaf and particular hospital, even if India belong to us, still many hospitals are running, still they are old. Started by Muslims and still we call Shifa Khana, still free medicine. Quality is not good now and money is not much coming, but still it's a use. So why not they have in Malaysia or in UIA what they are doing? Just only the slogan word Sharia based and this kind of things they are using.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Do you want any of you want to respond to this question? Or the
Yeah, I'm calling the dean. I think the dean is somewhere in audit.
So he's going to join us, isn't it?
He's supposed to join us
so
very soon.
Do we have?
Maybe we rule the ball, and anybody who wants to chip in can talk. But based on what I said about the machine ATM, I think I have to credit that idea to someone in London when I was talking with him in SOAS, and he was telling me that in his mosque, when they introduced POS for donation in the mosque, a lot of money came in than when they asked them to. The same mosque I told you about, 2003, I was going, they needed 1 million to build the new mosque. So this professor became one of the members just of recent, and I was sharing him my idea. He said, yeah, that's a very good idea, because when we introduced POS for donation, we got more donation than when we are asking them to come with the cash. So meaning I derive 1 or 2 lessons from that, is that people lost interest in donating cash to some people in the mosque because they don't know where it goes. So when the machine is being used in the mosque, whether POS or ATM, and people can just use their credit card to donate or cash, and a company who take care of that district or that mosque or state will come and collect it, and the larger book is there that they will see it, that this money belongs to this mosque, this and that. So, and this is the type of donation they had in that particular mosque. I think that will be more transparent and also giving confidence to people to donate. So this is where I started to think of whether we can have this. But the legal aspect of it needs to be taken care of, and the diligency, as my Prof said. So we think about that and see what we do. 12 o'clock is our lunch anyway, but we still have a couple of minutes to. Yeah, please.
Sir, I'm realizing taking all what you have presented and the idea of scale. What we observe first, we do have money. The Muslims do have money. issue was how we collect. And the people were donating and it was not identified. People were collecting the money, but it was not identified. Now you are proposing, okay, we can identify the money is coming and for what purposes is coming. Either it is coming for zakat, it is coming for general donation. But again, the big issue what we have in society or Muslim society is the money is not reaching to the appropriate people. Then from this project, how you will be managed to distribute? Again, the money was there, people were collecting. Again, the money will be collected now again. But again, the issue will be how this money is going to be reached the right people. And this is the one thing I have for this. Again, when we see right now the development about Muslim society, each institution is trying to diversify its main purpose. Each institution is trying to diversify its main purpose. Like Tabung Masjid, it was built for development of the Hajj or ease the Hajj issues, but now it's diversified and is trying to investment. And again, I think I don't know whether it's the purpose of mosque and its issues is fine, but again, it's diversifying is maybe it will lead for the instead of making it more good, maybe it will cause its chancellery.
Yeah, first of all, about the reaching the people, I think is a power problem of solidarity among Muslims. People believe that this is my money, this is my mosque money. You don't want to share it with any other person. And I think that can be created by some of the legal issue that zakat belongs to Asnaf and this and that. So from there, people can be too monopolic in that sense. But in this sense, first of all, the beneficiaries of the money will be the mosque itself. First of all, they have to standardize the mosque. They have to have every amenities in the mosque. And the company who will be doing that will be collecting the money, will make sure that their dividend are being paid to them to do many things, pay for the imam, pay for the madrasa, ustad, and so forth, painting every maintenance of the mosque. So mosque, you cannot enter into it because it's just, very unfashionable to pray in it. So they will have a standard of how many years we repair, how many years we paint, and we maintain. So after that, if there's any surplus, this central body, by the decree of the government or the government of the government, they can channel it to less privileged people, those who do not have standard mosque. So they will make sure that mosques are being taken care of to higher level, so that the objective of Sharia of Rajulum Qalbu Ma'allaq bil Masajid will be identified. So people will like to go to the mosque. I believe in developing countries, this is a big issue, that nobody wants to go to the mosque simply because the mosque is not able. You cannot go into it, you can't pray. It's just bad. If you wear clothes, your clothes will be dirty before you come out, and no air condition, nothing. So the mosque should be, first of all, taken care of, not individual. After that, we talk about the individual people around that mosque, how can they benefit from this money, and so on and so forth. So the priority, the hierarchy of Maqasid al-Shariah will be identified, and those who are supposed to be beneficiary in each type of the taboo will be identified in the, before it can go to other people, as a case of zakat, where they are complaining that there are a lot of surplus in the zakat, but it doesn't reach the people who are supposed to have it. So we try as much as possible to put some layers of how the money should be spent. But it's not a one-sum job. It can be taken by any other people who are very good in expenditure and so on and so forth. Well, Lord. Okay, yeah, if I think the lunch is coming very soon.
Can I finish my job?
I will hand over to you.
Okay, so thank you very much, Dr. Luqman. Should we wait for Dean here or we will move to the other?
The lunch,
okay.
You can join us in the...
So congratulations to this team of FRJS on successful completion, right? It's
Yes, we
completed now?
completed it. Yeah.
The completion
We
of
want
the.
to go to the prototype.
Okay, good. So this is the thank you for all for coming today, and to Dr. Luqman for sharing all the findings of this grant, and we wish the best in getting the PRGs to the team. Maybe the new other people will be added to this is the new team, and we will conclude our gathering here by the recitation of Surah Al-Asr and the Zakariyah al-Kafara, and we after that we will move to the other place for having a lunch together.
Lunch and